Hey there, and welcome back to my second on the road video. This time we'll be traveling from the city of La Paz to Puerto San Carlos. So basically going from the East Coast and the Sea of Cortez to the West Coast on the Pacific Ocean. So it's about a 3.5 hour drive, and I'll take you through what that looks like, what some of the road conditions, traffic conditions, and I do run across a agricultural inspection station and also a police checkpoint. So I'll be going through those on the way. Pretty much a uneventful trip, other than the fact that I almost ran into a cow on the way. So I got some video of that as well. But we'll be going through that. I've got a little bit of a section in here where for several minutes I will be talking about my navigation tips and tricks for navigating around Baja, how I do that. And then we'll arrive in the small town of Puerto San Carlos, and I'll drive through town just a bit to give you some impressions of what that small little fishing village looks like over on the Pacific coast adjacent to Magdalena Bay. And then finally, I will be doing a hotel review of Hotel Isabella that I stayed at in Puerto San Carlos. And I have come up with a little more structured way of doing the hotel review and evaluation. I've got 7 criteria, and we'll be taking a look at all of those and running through those to try to give you a little bit of a base and impression of what that hotel has to offer. So I will be putting timestamps in the video, so please look at those if you want to advance ahead or go back and rewind and look at some things. Feel free to do that. And but this is the second edition of this. The first one, again, we went from Cabo to La Paz, and now we'll be going from La Paz to Puerto San Carlos. And again, let me know any feedback or comments you might have about this video and other points that you would like to see for navigating around and getting around Baja. It's really very easy. It's very simple. There's some basic things you need to know about, and other than that, really no issue at all navigating around beautiful Baja California Sur. So that's it for now. Here goes the video. Headed out of La Paz. There's the local Walmart. Feliz viaje. That's the entrance coming into La Paz, and it really has, I think, 2 different meanings. I'm not 100% sure which one it is, but it has the appearance of either 2 doves, or, which is a symbol for peace, or a whale's tail, and maybe that's supposed to be a mashup of those 2 different things. So anyway, we are headed north on Highway 1, Mexican Highway 1, pretty famous highway. Runs the length of Baja. Get around this truck, and the Sea of Cortez is off to our east side, off on the right. Can't hardly see it. Not sure why that bike is going so slowly there. There we go, get a glimpse of the water. Still see the blue-greenish color. heard the police checkpoint north of La Paz is active, so we'll see what that looks like, and certainly get a little video of that if possible. I seem to remember too there are some speed bumps, some topes that are pretty aggressive here, so we'll try to keep an eye out for those as well. We'll come back at you shortly. Just a quick GPS check as well. So our next turn is in 200 kilometers. That's in the town of Ciudad Constitution. And we have a total of 260 kilometers to go. So not too bad. Arrival at about 1:20. So about 3.5 hour drive. So not too bad. I'm going to put the camera down when we get in the middle of this, just because I don't want to get pulled over. Hola, amigo.
Hola, mi buen.
Yeah.
No fruit.
No, no.
Thank you.
Okay.
Buen día.
Yeah, buen día.
Okay, you on vacation?
Yes, yes.
Good.
Balenia.
Perfect. Yeah, show me the passport, please.
Okay, it's in the back here.
You travel alone, sir?
Yes.
Good. Why?
Huh?
Why?
Why not? Yeah, going to see the whales.
Okay.
Balenia.
It's good season.
Yes. Okay, thank
Have a
you.
good trip.
Good day. Okay, so that was definitely a police checkpoint. I think I had the camera down, but hopefully you got the audio. He wanted to see my passport and actually took a picture of it as well. So anyway, I would estimate probably 20 kilometers north of La Paz. Hey, buddy. Hey, buddy. That was a riot. You gotta watch out for the cows. You gotta watch out for the cows. So I've gotten a question before about navigation and how I navigate when I'm here in Baja, and I would say over the years this has evolved a little bit, and I wanted to at least tell you what my current approach is. Relatively simple: Google Maps. And what I've done every year is I've created a saved list in Google Maps. Of course, you have to sign in under your username and save, in essence, save. You have to sign in under your username, and you can search for a place and save it to your favorite list. And so then what I do is when I'm getting ready to navigate to the next place, I open up that favorite list and select it and go. Really very simple. Every rental car that I've had here, at least over the past couple of years, has had Apple CarPlay. And what I do is I always travel with a cable that's compatible with my phone. Most of them, almost all of them, have been USB. I haven't really seen any USB-C plugs, but they've all been USB. And I travel with that and keep that in my pocket. And after I get the rental car, I plug into it and activate Apple Maps, and off I go. And with this particular rental car, which again is an MG, it has a really great navigation display on it, about the size of an iPad, actually a little bigger, and really works out well. I have used in the past, I've got a navigation device off my motorcycle, which is a BMW Navigator 6. It's actually made by Garmin and rebranded and with special BMW software loaded up on it. I have used that in the past with a dash mount, and that's worked very well, but the process of saving the locations on that, a little bit more difficult. You have to use an application called Basemap, Garmin Basemap, in order to do it and to sync back and forth. And nowadays the CarPlay is fairly straightforward, pretty easy to use. So that's what I do. It really works out well. I do have the BMW Navigator in my suitcase if I need to pull that out if I run into some kind of problem. So would do that. The other thing that I typically carry with me for international trips is my Garmin InReach Mini. I'll let you take a look at it here. I've got that charging at the moment, but I use that, and the main benefit, well, couple benefits of that. The first one is that with the Garmin apps, there's a suite of apps that I've got downloaded on my phone. It does let me communicate anywhere in the world through text messaging, and that works out pretty well. Have used that from time to time when there's no cell service. The other big benefit of that is it logs in every 5 minutes, and it basically drops a cookie of your location, and that location file can then later be downloaded into I'm pretty sure it's a KML file that you can load up on a map, and you can actually see your route and kind of when you're in different places. And particularly when I'm, say for example, out on a boat, it is really handy to be able to tell your exact location. So that's a little bit about navigation. Any questions, let me know. I also use Waze pretty heavily stateside with the social media integration, but tend to use Google Maps when I'm out and about on bigger trips. Any questions, let me know. Would love to hear them. Thanks. I've got about 12 kilometers before the next turn. I'm down to about a quarter of a tank, so I'm going to go ahead and refuel. I know there's a Pemex gas station up here. I've stopped at it many times, and go ahead and fill up basically from this town, Ciudad Constitution, out to Porto San Carlos. There's really not much on the road, and it's another, I guess, 50 or 60 kilometers from Ciudad Constitution on out. And if I remember correctly, there's no gas stations in Puerto San Carlos. I remember there's no ATMs because I ran out of cash and I needed some cash for a tip, and I had to end up driving all the way back into Ciudad Constitution. Get around that truck. There's a bus line in front of us, and there are, if I remember correctly, there were two major bus lines. One of them is Aquila, I think is the way you pronounce it, and they have pretty good reviews. Really reliable, fairly cheap transportation, clean, Wi-Fi. So definitely a good way to travel if you don't have a rental car. A good way to get between the cities. Should be coming up to the gas station here in a couple of miles. Okay, coming into Ciudad Constitution, and it looks like we have our next turn in a little bit less than 3 kilometers. And this is always a strange road configuration here. There's 2 lanes in the center, and then there are 2 lanes on either side with a median divider. And what's always strange is everybody has stop signs. I guess the theory is that you're supposed to turn from the outside lane, but people you're supposed to turn from the outside lanes, but it really almost a little bit dangerous the way it's set up. Anyway, you'll see what I mean here in just a minute. On left turn here. Got across that pretty easily. And now we've turned west. We've got about 60 kilometers. as a final point on this video, I did want to provide you with an overview of the hotel that I stayed at in Puerto San Carlos. It was called Hotel Villas Isabella, and that was booked directly through the whale watching company. And I think one of the highlights was definitely the communication back and forth with Captain Antonio Marco, who's the one that answers the mails, and he does an excellent job with that. So I did want to provide a couple of images. I did review this in a previous video when I visited there before, but I also wanted to roll out in this video my hotel rating criteria that I've developed, and so I've got 7 items. I'm going to go through these in a little bit more detail in this video since it's the first time I've introduced them, and then in future videos I will go over them very, very quickly. But basically the first one is secure parking. So I typically have a rental car down here, and parking in a safe place is extremely important. So that's one of the things that are at the top of the list. And one of the threats down here is definitely somebody stealing your license plate. So you want to make sure that you have good, secure parking. The second point here is the ease of check-in and check-out, and the level of communication with the hotel. So again, whether that's by email or through Expedia, whatever it might be, how communicative the hotel is to answering your questions. So I've found that that's something that's also very important. The third thing, comfort of the beds and having a nice quiet environment. So I have been in hotels before that have been extremely loud and with parties going on from nearby restaurants or parking areas, whatever it might be, but getting a good night's sleep is extremely important. Next thing on the list here is hot water. And having definitely adequate hot water is something that's very important. Nothing worse than getting up on a chilly morning and not having any hot water and not being able to take a shower. Next thing is high-speed Wi-Fi, and this has generally been pretty good, although I've been in some places that the quality of the Wi-Fi isn't that good at all. And one of the important things here is the upload speed. Since I'm doing a lot of editing and producing videos while I'm on the road, just having the ability to get my videos uploaded to YouTube is extremely important. So that's a main criteria for me. Next one is restaurant access. Either having a on-site restaurant or something that's within walking distance is important. It may not be breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Maybe it's more a breakfast restaurant or more of a dinner restaurant, whatever it might be. But that's also something important so that I don't have to worry about getting in the car and heading down the road somewhere to grab a bite to eat and then trying to make my way back. And last one is value for the money. Of course, this is a very subjective item for me, and you know what I might consider a good value, someone else might consider a bad value, and vice versa. So those are the 7 criteria, and then what I thought I would do. So each criteria would have a maximum of 5 points, so that would be 35 points overall. And 0 points would be poor or unacceptable, and 5 points would be absolutely over the top. And if the category, if it meets my requirements, that would be a 3. So just to kind of calibrate how all of those things would come together, that's kind of how I saw this. And if you have criteria that you use in selecting your hotels that are important, I can consider changing or amending my list. So on to Hotel Isabella in San Carlos. You see it's a total of 27 points, and I'm going to try to use kind of the same general approach to all of these. I think one topic that really stood out again was the communication with Captain Marco. He did a really good job, was quick to answer and very complete, very thorough, and really took personal care to make sure that everything was taken care of. And probably the worst things were the parking. There was no real secure parking. There's a couple of spaces that are inside the gate, but typically the staff uses those. And so I ended up parking my rental car out in front on a public street that could have been some issues. I've never had any problems there, but it's certainly not what I would consider a secure parking area. And then the other thing that I would ding them on is the upload speed on the Wi-Fi. The Wi-Fi was adequate, certainly for all of my purposes. So again, that gives a total of 27 out of 35. And then just one final slide. So I did want to include this information in here. We'll do this on the future hotels, and drop me a comment if you would like me to go back and do the rating on Posada Luna Sol in La Paz. Be glad to do that. I've kind of already gotten it written up. I just need to put the slides together, so let me know. So that's it. That's the hotel rating criteria. So I hope you're enjoying this content that I'm bringing you from Baja California Sur. If so, please give me a like, subscribe, and I'd love to hear any comments that you might have, and if you would like to see more episodes like this on the road in Baja California Sur. Thanks, and talk soon.